Hello everyone. Today let's start entropy change with temperature and pressure. Okay. Entropy change with temperature and pressure. First of all, we all know what is entropy, hence let's start directly. First, if temperature and volume are two variables, then what? First, what is formula for entropy? It is ds is equals to dq reversible upon T, right? Now we will substitute this value. We know first law of thermodynamics, what it says, du is equals to dq, so delta U is equals to, we can write for finite change, and if these are infinitesimally small, then dq plus dw, right? So if it is dq reversible, we can write dq reversible is equals to delta U minus dw. Okay. Now we can substitute this value here, but before that, what is dw? If it is an expansion work, then dw will be work done by system on surrounding, right? Expansion. So it will be minus p dv, right? Let's substitute here. dq reversible is equals to delta U minus of minus p dv. It will be plus p dv. Now, what is delta U? We know that W by T at constant pressure, at constant volume will equal to the Cv, right? Therefore, du is equals to Cv dt. We can substitute this in equation 1. This is equation 1. Then it will become dq reversible equals to Cv dt plus p dv. Now let's divide by temperature. Then we will get this. So dq reversible by temperature is equal to ds. That is entropy. This is formula for entropy, and it will be equal to Cv dt upon T plus p dv upon T. Now for finite change, what we will do, delta S will be equal to, now let's integrate this. Cv is constant here. How? Let's take a flashback. We have seen while studying heat capacity in the graph of internal energy versus temperature, right? It was looking like this. Now we have said that the tangent to this curve, okay, and it has some slope. So on this curve, these many points will have nearly similar slope, okay, nearly same slope. If the slope is nearly same, what is slope? W by T at constant. This graph is at constant volume. We have seen it already. W by T is equals to Cv. So if slope has nearly similar values, then its heat capacity at constant volume will also have similar values, and we can take nearly this Cv constant. That means the value of Cv will not change by very large amount, so we can take it as constant. Therefore, Cv is constant for small temperature range. We are integrating in proper limits. Let's say T1 and T2. T1 is initial temperature, T2 is final temperature. dt by T plus, now we will substitute P also. We know that PV is equals to nRT. For 1 mole, P will be equal to RT by V. And here R will be again constant. So R integration of, this is volume dV. So from volume 1 to volume 2, dV upon V. And R we have taken outside. We have got this. Now delta S equal to Cv. What is integration of 1 upon T? It is ln T, that is natural log of T. And with proper limits, we will get ln T2 minus ln T1, right? ln T2 minus ln T1. And with the rule of logarithm says ln T2 minus ln T1 will be equal to ln T2 upon T1 plus, now R is constant. As we have done here, we can do here also. So we will get R ln V2 by V1. We have got this relation, right? Let's say this is equation 2. And for n number of moles, it is for 1 mole. Now for n number of moles, how we can write? We will write delta S is equal to NCV ln T2 by T1 plus NR ln V2 by V1. That's it. Now let's see, we have to see relation between temperature and pressure, entropy change with temperature and pressure, and we have derived it with volume and temperature. Now for pressure, let's say we know that PV is equals to nRT, PV is equals to RT for 1 mole. So P1 V1 is equals to RT1, R is gas constant. So P2 V2 will be equal to RT2. And we can divide this equation by this. Then we will get P2 V2 by P1 V1 upon is equals to RT2 by RT1. Got it? Now we have to substitute V in place of P. So we have to substitute P in place of V in this equation. So we are going to get values of V2 by V1. It will be equal to, R will cancel. So P1 T2 upon P2 T1. Let's substitute. Now delta S will be equal to Cv ln T2 by T1 plus R ln P1 T2 by P2 T1. Now it will be equal to Cv ln T2 by T1 plus R ln T2 by T1. Now if we want to write P2 by P1, because here T2 by T1, T2 by T1, hence we will write P2 by P1. For that we have to give minus sign, minus, because numerator and denominator are exchanged. So R ln P2 by P1. Now we can take common. Delta S will be equal to, let's take ln T2 by T1 common. Cv plus R ln T2 by T1 minus R ln P2 by P1. Hence here we know that Cp minus Cv is equals to R. Hence Cv plus R will be Cp. Sorry, Cv plus R will be Cp, right? So Cp ln T2 by T1 minus R ln P2 by P1. Hence delta S will be equal to, for n number of moles we can write n Cp ln T2 by T1 minus nr for n number of moles, nr ln P2 by P1. This is the relation for change in entropy with temperature and pressure. Hence from this equation we can say that entropy will change with change in temperature and change in pressure. That's it. Now write it properly. Now our next point is Clausius inequality. Now we know that there are two types of processes we have learned. One is reversible, one is irreversible, and we also know that work done in reversible process will always greater than work done in irreversible process, because in irreversible processes there is heat loss, right? Energy is lost in the form of heat, and therefore we can write dW reversible will always greater than or equal to dW by magnitude. Now this is dW means work done in irreversible process, that means in natural process. So but if we say that the process is expansion, if it is expansion, then work done will have negative sign, work by system on surroundings. So minus dW reversible will be greater than or equal to minus dW. Hence we can write dW reversible minus dW reversible minus dW will be less than or equal to 0. Sorry, it's wrong. Let's see. Yeah, it's right. Either way, we can write like, we can write, if we take it in this side, then dW minus dW reversible will be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, let's number it. It's equation 1. Now according to first law, delta U is equals to dQ plus dW, but we also know that the internal energy is the state function, right? It will not depend upon path, whether the reaction is reversible or irreversible. It will be independent of path, therefore its value will be same. So we can write delta U is equals to dQ reversible plus dW reversible is equal to dQ plus dW, right? And now we can again write dq reversible minus dq will be equal to dw minus dw reversible. Now from equation 1, let's write in single step. From equation 1 we can write dw minus dw reversible is greater than or equal to 0, and therefore dq reversible minus dq will be greater than or equal to 0, and dq reversible will be greater than equal to dq. And if we divide by temperature, if the expansion is occurring at temperature T, then dq reversible upon T will be greater than equal to dq upon T. And what is dq reversible upon T? It is definition of entropy. So ds is greater than or equal to dq upon T. This is called Clausius inequality. This is very important relation. Now if what it says, change in entropy will always greater than equal to heat absorbed, it is irreversibly upon temperature. And if the process is isolated, system is isolated, then for adiabatic process, what will happen? dq will be 0, and therefore ds will be greater than or equal to 0. Hence again from this equation also we can say that entropy for any process will always be greater than or equal to 0. That means entropy is always increasing, right? It will never be less than 0. Entropy will never decrease in any process, any kind of process. Entropy will never decrease. Okay? And again we have seen first law, its limitations, second law. Now Clausius have combined Clausius have stated that the first law uses energy, and first law uses energy to identify the permissible processes. One second. We know that first law, statement of first law, delta U is equals to Q plus W. Now this is change in internal energy. So by this law we get no permissible processes but with the help of second law we get the knowledge about spontaneous processes among these permissible processes. So first law uses internal energy to identify permissible processes, while second law uses entropy. Second law uses entropy to identify spontaneous processes among those permissible processes. And we have seen, so for the spontaneous processes entropy will never decrease, right? This is all about today. Now in the next lecture we will say how that Clausius equation, how it is very important in thermodynamics, and with the help of that equation we will also derive another two thermodynamic parameters. Okay, thanks for watching.